like food.
Oh, sorry about that. All right then.
This one doesn't even
This
have
is so
any.
unprofessional. All right.
He's been
This
doing an
one's
excellent
not
job.
even doing anything.
Okay. All right. Gabe. Okay, we're gonna get started. All right. What I'm gonna do is, you got your brush selected. I'm gonna change that to a 3-point brush, and I'll knock it up to 4, and see how well that does on this canvas. Then from there, really need to lock that door. All right. From there, with your brush still selected, what you want to do is go to your brush settings right here, this window right there. All right. So with your brush selected, because if you have your pen tool, it won't show up anything. All right. So you want your brush selected in order to show anything. You want to go to Shape Dynamics. Then make sure your control is on pen pressure. And this is how it's going to look. This is how your line art's going to look down here. But because we have it set to 0 in minimum diameter, it's only going to fill up the middle of your stroke and not the edges, and we don't want that. We want it to fill up the entire shape that we're going to make. So what we're going to do is just bump that up to about 30%. And 30% works. I'm going to give it a little extra just to make sure it fills up the entire thing. But what this does is gives it a pen-like stroke so that it's thick in the middle but thin on the edges, so it looks a little more painterly. So again, remember to select your brush, then go to your brush settings, and that'll then go to Shape Dynamics, set control to pen pressure, and turn the diameter up to about 30 to 37%, even 40 if you need to. Then from there, let's go to our sketch. I'm going to make a new layer and knock back our sketch a little bit. And before we get started, what I usually do is pull up paths. It's usually found in the same window as layers, but I bump it down to where my layers is because this is the shortcut for inking your brush. So you want your path layer, you want your path window and your layers window for inking pictures. So I'm going to go to my pen tool, and I'm going to click, then click and drag. Then for some people have trouble with the pen tool because whenever you click and drag, these little axes comes up and they control where the rest of your pen goes. That's easy to get rid of. All you have to do is just, if I reselect it, you can hit Option. If you hold the Option key and drag, you can manipulate that and it'll give you more control over your brush. Say Option, drag, click. Option, drag, and click. Or if you just don't want that at all, just hit Option key and just click the vertice. So if I were to drag and I don't want these axes, hold Option key, click the vertice, gets rid of it right there. So the next point you make will be at a right angle with no drag like that. You guys got me? Okay. That was just another tangent I went to because a lot of my friends really hate the pen tool because that happens. And it's all just holding Option and then clicking the vertice if you don't want your axes. Now that I got my first point here, and I got a curve here where my ankle is, I'm going to end that and just ink it. What you want, go to your path window. You see this unfilled circle? Because this is the filled circle. If you click the filled circle, it'll just fill in the blank here. But let me make sure that this thing is actually cut. All right. But what you want is the unfilled circle. That controls your inks. And that just made a stroke. I'm going to delete that. Oh, wait. My bad. That's why. I'm sorry. I'm actually on my sketch layer. And my sketch layer has a low opacity. That's not good. So let's make the new vertice again. And I did forget. I'm glad that happened because I forgot one thing. Before you start using your path window, right-click, hit stroke, and you want to make sure that your tool is your brush, not your pencil. You want it to be set to brush, and you want it to simulate pen pressure. So make sure that's clicked. That's going to give you your painterly style, okay? Because otherwise, see, this is what it looks like. And if I get rid of that, you see what happened? Let me just zoom in a little bit. It's thicker on the middle, but thin on the edge. Let me just bump that brush up just to make my point. I'll bump it up to about, that's too high, to about 7. Then stroke it. You see what I mean? And if I didn't have that, if I just make a simple stroke, like forget simulate pen pressure, that's what you get. Much thicker. Okay? So, just to reiterate, let me just get rid of this whole layer. Get my sketch layer back. Just to reiterate, and I'm going to keep this at a higher sketch because 3 points is way too low. You want to make your first line, then right click, go to stroke path, and make sure that your tool is set to brush and simulate pen pressure. Okay? Then hit OK, and it'll make your stroke right there. And it's thicker in the middle, but thinner on the outside. And now that you made that one distinction by hitting stroke path, from now on, if I make a path right here, all I have to do is just go to my path layer, click this unfilled circle, and it inks for me. Okay? So I'm just going to follow this around. Until you get to the end of the line. Hit that. And delete my path once I'm done. Then I'm going to keep going. Because you don't want to stop short here. Ink it and then try to continue it. Because you end up... Well, that actually turned out really good. But a lot of people... do that, and they could get a stroke like this, where you got your first line, and then you start your next line a little too short, and you get that rough edge. You don't want that. So when you're inking, follow the entire shape. So the whole shape, keep going until you either hit a corner or the end of that line. And that's when you stroke it. Okay? Alright, we just keep on going. Just keep on hitting that inner circle, then delete each path by just hitting the backspace or the delete key if you're using Mac. Keep circling around. All right, and boom, an ink's put. Okay, nice and smooth with your inks, really good edges, and that's basically how I ink my pictures. Now in terms of coloring, if I wanted to color this, first off I'm going to close this off so that it's a lot easier for me. So let's just do a quick coloring tutorial on how I do my colors. I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to label this outline. I'm going to label this skin for skin-based color. Then I'm going to take a magic wand, just go to my outline layer, make sure my outline layer is selected, click once, and it's got an anti-alias around it, which is what you want. Then I'm just going to expand that. Hold on a second. Let me just change a few things here, because when I use my magic wand, I have all my shortcuts like keyed up. So let me just do that by going to selection, going to modify, and then going to expand, and holding. I usually use Command Shift plus, and for contract, Command Shift minus. Accept, Okay. And then I just go